Hello everyone and welcome to the Cop.Supply overview for NSB. In this video we are going to be working from the Cop tab all the way to the task tab, so if you wish to follow along, that is the system I'm going to be using. We're going to start off over at the Cop tab just to break down a few things with the GUI. As you guys can see, it's reactive when you go to each type of tab. The logo goes and reacts there when you're over it, and it reacts in the background whilst you're using NSB. Obviously there is a design up there as well, and then you have your local computer time up there, as well as the minimize button and the X button to shut down the bot. So this tab is basically used to record all the items you go ahead and successfully check out with NSB. And to break down this section, as you guys can see, the hashtag counts for a number. So let's say you've got multiple things, it will go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and all the way down the list, so you can number your cops. Then the name is the actual product of the name that you've copped. Then the speed, and the speed is calculated from the point you start the task to the checkout. So obviously with sites where your tasks run for a long amount of time, your speed's going to be longer, so that is a nice thing to know. Your date purchase, so if you want to track your purchases, you can go see the date here as well. Your billing profile, that's in association with the billing tab. Obviously the billing profiles you use will come up here. The site, that is also nice to know as well. If you're going for multiple sites, then obviously you will know the site you go for, and also the size of the product. It ranges from obviously numbers and then small, medium, large and extra large and a bunch of stuff like that. And within NSB there's actually a feature to document all your copped items. If you don't have like a screenshotting software, there's actually a button here where the camera, if you hit this, it goes ahead and takes a screenshot of your items and it opens up a file directory like I'm going to show you right now. When it opens this up, it will open up a file directory. Obviously I've blurred out some of my files here, but as you guys can see, it says NSB cop tab -2020-06-02.png, so I can go ahead and tweet out these screenshots if I want to tweet out success and use it for any purpose I want. And also I can click this to trash any images that I've gone ahead and done. But let's move over to the profile section. In the profile section, this is essentially your profile for the entire bot. It has the current version, which at the time of recording this overview, the latest version is version 2.4.59. Then your machine ID, I've gone ahead and blurred that out. Your key expiry, so my key expires in 166 days. And also the update section where there's a button. If I hit this, it goes ahead and checks for updates. As you guys can see, it says you already have the latest version. It will pop up on the bottom right, so I have no updates to do there. And also if you hit this button here, what this basically does is it allows you to configure your webhook. You can test your webhook as well. Obviously I've blurred mine out, but that is the button to configure your webhook. If you hit this is for your account pool, so you can go ahead and put accounts in the formation, email, password, 1 per line, which you can use in association with your tasks. And finally on this page you have the deactivate button. If you wish to deactivate your bot, then you can go ahead and do so by clicking this button. But moving over to the monitors section, so to break down this is a feature within NSB that allows you to connect monitors within your bot to go ahead and use in association with your tasks. So I'm going to break it down. The first step that you need to know is you need to hit this Discord logo. As you guys can see, it's red. I'm going to go ahead and explain. For some of you guys it might not be red, so do not worry, but essentially when you hit this button it loads up your Discord, and that's what I was going on and done here. I'm going to go to X out of it. When you guys click this, when it's not red, it will ask you to log in. Logging into Discord is a very pretty simple process, and once you've logged in, then you are fine. If you hit this is just a Discord login proxy. If you wish to use a proxy, then use it in the formation IP:/port:/user:/pass, and hit submit, and then you can go ahead and log into your Discord via the button. Then go to the plus new monitor button and it'll pop up this little box here. Then what you guys want to do, once you're logged in and this is red, hit the fetch servers button. This will go ahead and fetch all your servers on the Discord account you've logged into. As you guys can see, it says servers fetched. Then I can go through all my Discord servers over here. So let's say if I were to click PG pings and I know that there's a certain channel in there that I want to go ahead and monitor in association with my tasks, then I can go through here and let's say I would like to monitor Supreme EU. I click submit, and as you guys can see, it's been added. It tells me the server, obviously the number of monitors I have here, and also the channel. So if I have multiple of these, they can keep tracking them very easily. So when you hit this button, the play button here, it pops up the monitor monitoring for new items, obviously within this little monitor tab that we are going to cover in the task section as well. You can go ahead and configure your size, the billing profile it's going to use, the proxy list, the method where is false capture on or off, and login smart on or off. that will go ahead and pop up the new items as it pops up in the monitor within PG Pings in the Supreme EU channel. So I'm going to X out of that. If I wish to edit the monitor, all I have to do is hit this pen icon. This will pop up. As you guys can see, I can edit the Discord monitor. I can refresh my servers if a server's been added that I want to use, and then I can go ahead and close it. I'd submit it. I'm going ahead and close it because I haven't made any changes. However, let's go over to the capture tab. Now on the capture section, what you want to go ahead and start with is the plus new solver button. When you click this goes ahead and creates a new solver. So it asks you your capture name. I'm going to go ahead and fill in test for this overview. I can go ahead and put a proxy in the normal formation that we spoke about before, and also select a capture method. I'm going to go ahead and click original, click submit. As you guys can see, it has been added over there. Now I've added the test capture harvester, I'm going to go ahead and show you what these buttons do. This button signifies that it's activated. As you guys can see, it swipes to the right and it's red. That means it's activated and it's going to be used by NSB. However, if I were to click this, it goes to the left, the red light goes away and shows that it is not being used by NSB. However, I'm going to go ahead and reactivate it. This button that is on all capture harvesters, by the way, it is the YouTube icon. So obviously it is known that you can generate activity on your Gmail by logging into YouTube and playing videos. So this gives you the option to go ahead and log into your account. If you're already logged into your account, it will just take you to YouTube. I'm going to show you what that looks like now. As you guys can see on my fourth one, I'm logged in. It takes me straight to YouTube. Then I can go ahead and play a video and generate activity on my account. And then if I hit the pen button, what this basically does is it allows me to put a proxy in again, change the method, and also change the name for that unique capture harvester. If I hit the bin button, that's just going to go ahead and delete it. It's going to ask me, do you want to confirm the deletion? I click yes, it goes and deletes it. Then the three dots is to essentially open the solver, PayPal login, and clear session. So we hit open the solver. If I'm logged into an account, this is what it's going to look like now. You can go ahead and log into your PayPal if you wish. Hitting this button, logging into PayPal is a pretty simple process, so I'm not going to show you how to do that. However, that button shows you how to do that. If you can open YouTube as well, this button is to open YouTube. As it says, if you click this, it goes and open YouTube, so you can go ahead and have the harvester and also generate activity at the same time. You can go ahead and clear your session if you wish. You can test it and it will go ahead and solve a capture. As you guys can see, my score isn't great, so I'm going to go ahead and solve this. And also you can go ahead and test your V3 score. So if you go ahead and hit this button, it will bring you to this page. I'll go ahead and test it, and as you guys can see, my last V3 test score was 0.9, and then below that it shows you how many captures are being solved. As you guys can see, I've only solved one. That's why one is there. Then obviously over here it says no capture required. When did the capture required? That text will go away, and then you can go ahead and solve your capture. Below that is auto clip capture. That is basically where NSB clicks the capture for you, and then if it's a one click, it goes through. If it's not, then you have to solve it. However, you can deactivate that by simply hitting this, and then the tick goes away, and then you can go ahead and click into your captures yourself. Finally, you can go ahead and change the method that we configured originally from original to vanilla or vanilla to original, just depending on what you want. And obviously you can go ahead and hit the X button on the harvester to go ahead and get rid of it. The last few buttons that I'm going to cover within the capture section before moving to billing is this three at the top. If you hit this, the pen, it goes ahead and shows collective actions that will affect all your capture harvesters. So the first one, it says switch all to original, switch all to vanilla, turn all on, and turn all off. So you can go ahead and utilize these options if you wish. If you hit this button, this is going to attempt to open up YouTube on every single harvester. If you're not logged in, this is the screen you're going to see. So I'm going to go ahead and X out up. If you're logged in, this is the screen you're going to see. And obviously in this case, I just need to put my password to log in. However, that is what that button is used for. And when you click this button, it essentially asks you if you're sure you want to log out all the capture profiles. If you wish to do that, then click yes. If not, then just simply click no. Now moving over to the billing section, just to quickly run through a few things that you're seeing. Obviously the hashtag is the number of billing profiles. The name is the actual name of the billing profile that we configure when we create a billing profile. Then it shows the date created, the type, some information about it, and obviously the buttons that we're going to cover once we go ahead and create a billing profile. So we're going to go ahead and hit this button, the new billing button, and this pops up. As you guys can see, you can put in your first name, your last name, your country, city, address, apartment/house number, state, zip code, phone number, and obviously by default what NSB goes ahead and does is it separates your shipping and billing. However, what you can go ahead and do is hit this button and it will essentially duplicate everything you put in the shipping for billing when you go ahead and use it in association with your tasks. And then you have your profile name, which we talked about over there, and then we have our card details and also a checkout limit. So you can go ahead and configure your task to have no checkout limit, check out only once, check out once per site, and check out once per item per site. If you wish to do that, then you can configure it at the bottom, and then you can go ahead and hit submit, and that creates the profile for you. I already have a testing profile here, so it's pretty simple to go ahead and create a profile. However, I'm going to go ahead and break down the buttons on each profile. So if you hit this, it basically pops up the GUI again, and I can go ahead and edit the profile. And when I'm done with the changes, I can go ahead and hit submit. So just to show you that it works, we're going to change testing to test, and obviously that would be changed. As you guys can see, the changes: success billing updated, it changed to test. Then the next button is the trash button. Obviously you can go ahead and delete it. There's a task created with that profile right now, so I can't delete it. However, usually if you hit this, it will give you the option, you click yes, and it is done. And then the three dots here is essentially you can go ahead and clone it. So if you have a very similar profile and you want to go ahead and clone it, you hit this and it goes ahead and clones it at the bottom. For the final few buttons of the billing section, if you want to create a billing group, you can hit the new group button, and you can go ahead and configure a group name. So let's say I want to call the group name testing, and then I want to select the billing profiles that join that group. Let's say I want to join test, submit. As you guys can see, the group name's been created and there's one profile loaded on there. It's the same thing once again. I can go ahead and edit this by removing billing profiles if I wish. If I hit this, then I can also hit the arrow and add different ones as well, and hit submit when I'm done. Obviously I can use the trash bin icon to go ahead and delete it, which we have established, and the three dots to go ahead and clone the group if you want to do that. Now moving over to the proxy section, we're going to go ahead and break this down. Now the few headers that we need to look at is the number, so obviously the number of proxies, the name of your proxies, the number of proxies, and the date created, and also the actions. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to click add proxy list. This is going to pop up this box here. I can go ahead and configure the list name. So let's say I were to name it UKDC, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste a proxy in here that actually works. That's why it's blurred out right now. And essentially within this, there's a few buttons here. So you can go ahead and click submit. When you're done, you can click validate format. It highlights green. As you can see through the blurred text, you can clearly see that it's gone green. That means my proxy is in the right formation. I can do a latency check, and as you guys can see, it says valid, and then 238.43 milliseconds, that is the speed. I can go ahead and click close if I don't want to do that, but I want to click submit. So my proxy has been added under the UKDC list. It shows me how many proxies been added, and it shows me the date created, which is June 2nd, 2020. Now I can go ahead and use the pen icon to go ahead and edit. It pops up the proxy again in the proxy list. I go ahead and change stuff. I can go ahead and go through the same options once again. However, I'm not going to do that. I can go ahead and delete a proxy list by the trash bin icon, and at the bottom I can use the option for smart local IP checkout for undefeated. You can click that or unclick that depending on what you want. And for the final few buttons of this section, if you hit this cookie icon, you can go ahead and edit cookie generator proxy list. So you can put proxies in here for cookie generation, and at the bottom it shows you how many seconds the cookies have been generated, and obviously a latency check for that. You can validate the format for that, and very similar to proxies, you can submit and close the window if you wish. And then you can also import proxies. So as you guys can see, the arrow is going down symbolizing import. So this will go ahead and pop up a file explorer box. If I hit this, it goes ahead and pops it up like I said, and you can go ahead and import it with the right file format. And also you can export. So as you guys can see, the arrow is going up. You can go ahead and export your proxies if you want to use it in a different port. Once again, file explorer goes ahead and pops up. So for the task section within NSB, I've gone ahead and singled out an item for testing purposes. It is on the Supreme website, and the colors available are red and black. As you guys can see, I can check out both right now, so it's a suitable way to go ahead and test it. I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and once again, it is a Supreme C-Line waterproof case. So let's minimize this and go back to NSB, and let's break down a few things before we start. So obviously the hashtag symbolizes the number of tasks, the site you're botting, the size of the item you're going for, the product that is based on your link and keywords, the billing profile associated with the task, the proxy list that you're going to be using that we've configured in the proxy section, and also the status of the actual task. And once again, actions pop up once we go ahead and create a task. At the bottom we have a few buttons here. We can collectively start all our tasks by hitting this button. We can do the same by stopping all our tasks, and also hit manual capture. If you want to go ahead and solve your captures manually, you hit this button when there's captures required to be solved. You can hit the edit all button, and this shows you a bunch of options. So as you guys can see, you can change the URL, variant, keywords, modes, billing profiles, proxy lists, sizes, password, schedule, timeout, clone and capture. Keep in mind this will affect every single task on here, and also you can go ahead and delete all your tasks if you wish. At the top, before we go to the create a task part, you can go ahead and filter your task by searching through. So let's say you have loads of tasks that overlaps this little square and you have to scroll, you can search for your tasks using the filtration search bar at the top. So when you go ahead and click the plus create task button, this UI goes and pops up and you have a few options here. I'm going to go ahead and break it down. So you have your select of sites, you hit this drop down, you can go through it. You can also search if you wish. So obviously if I wanted to go for Supreme EU in this example, I hit Supreme. Then the next part is change depending on the site, but I'm going to run through a lot of things that span across every single site. Obviously you have your mode here, you're going to use desktop mode. Then you have the link, the category, size, keywords, color, number of tasks, billing profile, and also your proxy list. Now with the link, essentially if I were to put the product link in, as you guys can see, the category and the keywords go away because it already has that information. However, let's say I were to go ahead and remove that and not put anything in link, then I'll have to go ahead and configure the category and the keywords. However, I'm going to go ahead and put the link in for the purpose of this overview. So you go ahead and put the link in. I can go ahead and change the color. So we know that there's red on black and stock. So I'm going to go ahead and put a red here. For the size, we know it's one size, so I'm going to leave it empty. For the number of tasks, I can go ahead and use this button here to go ahead and go up and down tasks. Alternatively, you can literally just type it in. So let's say I want two tasks are going to pop up. However, for this overview, I'm going to go ahead and create one. Then go ahead and select my billing profiles from the billing section of the bot that we've created. I'm going to go ahead and use test, and then I can go ahead and choose a proxy list that I've created from the proxy section, and alternatively I can go ahead and configure the task to not use a proxy. However, I'm going to go ahead and use the one proxy within the UK DC proxy list. Then that's covered at the top part. Then we hit the advanced button and it pops up some more options. So and within the advanced settings, we have the monitor/restart timeout, the checkout delay, and both of these are in milliseconds, and also the quantity. So essentially if you were to leave this blank at the default, as you can see it's grayed out here, but it says 3,500 and 1,000. So if I leave blank, it will go ahead and go with those delays, but I can go ahead and change that if I wish. If I want to schedule a task, I'll go ahead and hit this button and it lets me run a selected time or run every hour. I can also change it here with the clocks. If I were to put 12 o'clock, I can go ahead and do that if I wish, and that runs on your local computer time. Then if I were to hit use capture, that was obviously use a capture as well. There is some sites that don't use capture, so if I want to force it to use a capture, I hit that button. And in COD is Japan only, and that is relative to Supreme, so do not worry about that. And obviously 3D card is relative to Supreme, so do not worry about that. But those are some options that you're commonly going to see when creating tasks within NSB. I'm going to go ahead and create this task. When I hit submit, it goes and creates it because it satisfies all the necessary fields within this box. I'm going to go ahead and click the X here, and I'm going to go ahead and break down this task once again. The number of tasks is 1, the site is Supreme, the size is random because I left it empty, the product is the link. Alternatively, I could have changed that, but the keywords there and the keywords will be there. The billing is test, the proxy list is UKDC, and the status is idling because it is not doing anything at the moment. Now what you can go ahead and do is use this button to start the task. I'm not going to do that quite yet. However, if I hit the pen button, I can go ahead and edit the task once again. If I hit the delete button, I can go ahead and delete my task, and if I hit the 3 dots, I can actually restart it, clone the task, inject keywords, inject mode, the logs of the actual task, and Supreme prep as well. Obviously this is relative Supreme, but there's other options for different sites. So I'm going to go ahead and start the task. Go ahead, as you guys can see, it's going through everything, waiting for capture. It pops up, it uses the only capture place that I've actually logged into. Card declined, retrying, obviously because it's a test profile, it's not going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and pause that. The pause button goes in and does that. It's stopped, the status is stopped. The final 3 buttons for the task section within NSB are very simple. The first one is the monitor, representing an actual monitor within NSB. So obviously you can go ahead and use this for your own uses. Then you can import your tasks by hitting this, and a file explorer will pop up. And also you can export your tasks from NSB, and a file explorer will pop up to go ahead and save the file and put it into other bots. So that concludes today's overview of NSB on the Cop.Supply website.